Welcome back to Strong with Eva Fitness, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the facts so you can build a stronger, leaner, and healthier body without falling for the latest fitness fads. I'm your host, Ava Carter, and if you've ever wondered whether you should be spending more time running on a treadmill or picking up heavy weights to lose fat, you're not alone. It's one of the biggest debates in fitness. What's actually better for fat loss? Cardio or strength training? Should you be logging miles like a marathon runner? Or is lifting weights the real secret to torching fat? And let's be real, no one wants to waste hours in the gym doing the wrong thing. So today, we're breaking it all down. We'll look at the science, the real-world results, and, most importantly, how you can maximize your time and effort to get the best fat loss results possible. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the fundamentals, because if you don't get this part right, it won't matter whether you do cardio, strength training, or a mix of both. At its core, fat loss is all about energy balance, calories in versus calories out. If you burn more calories than you consume, your body taps into stored fat for energy, and that's how you lose weight. Sounds simple, right? But here's where it gets interesting. How you burn those calories matters. And not all methods are equally effective in the long run. Let's talk about cardio first. When you go for a run, hop on a bike, row, or even do a high-energy dance class, you're burning calories in the moment. The faster and harder you work, the more calories you burn. This is why people often associate cardio with weight loss. You feel that immediate sweat. Your heart rate spikes, and your fitness tracker might show you burned 400 calories in a session. But here's the catch. What happens after your workout? Not much. Once you stop moving, your calorie burn slows down significantly. And over time, your body adapts to cardio, meaning you have to work harder and longer to burn the same amount of calories. Plus, ever notice how hungry you feel after a long cardio session? That's your body trying to replace the energy you just burned, which can sometimes lead to overeating and undoing your progress. Now, let's talk about strength training, because this is where things really start to change. Strength training might not burn as many calories during your workout, but it does something even better. It builds muscle. And here's why that matters. Muscle is more metabolically active than fat, meaning it burns more calories even when you're not exercising. Think about it this way. If you have two people, both weighing 150 pounds, but one has more muscle and the other has more fat, the person with more muscle will naturally burn more calories at rest, even while sleeping, working, or just watching TV. This is why strength training is a game changer for fat loss. You're not just burning calories during the workout. You're increasing your body's ability to burn fat 24/7. So, the real secret to long-term fat loss isn't just about burning calories. It's about changing your body composition. Losing weight isn't the real goal, losing fat is. And to do that effectively, you need a strategy that helps you burn fat while maintaining or building muscle. Now, does this mean cardio is useless? Absolutely not. It still plays a role in overall fitness, heart health, and endurance. But if you're relying only on cardio to lose fat, you're missing out on a much more effective and sustainable approach. And that's exactly what we'll get into next. Alright, now that we've covered the basics of fat loss, let's dive into cardio, one of the most popular, and often misunderstood, tools for burning fat. How cardio works for fat loss. When most people think about losing weight, they think about cardio, running, cycling, swimming, jumping rope. These are all classic fat-burning exercises. And there's a reason for that. Cardio burns a high number of calories per session, making it a great way to create a calorie deficit. For example, a 30-minute run at a moderate pace can burn anywhere from 300 to 500 calories, depending on your weight and intensity. Compare that to a strength training session, where you might burn 200 to 300 calories. And it's easy to see why people gravitate toward cardio when trying to lose weight. But it's not just about calories. Cardio has other benefits too. It improves cardiovascular health, strengthens your heart and lungs, and increases endurance. If you want to be able to move better, breathe easier, and improve overall stamina, cardio is a solid choice. Plus, it can be a great stress reliever. A long walk or a jog can clear your mind, boost your mood, and even help with sleep. Now, let's talk about the two main types of cardio. High-intensity interval training, HIIT, versus steady-state cardio. Steady-state cardio. This is your traditional cardio, jogging, cycling, or using an elliptical at a moderate, consistent pace for an extended period. It's great for endurance and burns calories, but it doesn't necessarily build muscle or boost metabolism long after you're done. High-intensity interval training, HIIT. This is where you do short bursts of high-intensity effort followed by periods of rest. Think sprinting for 30 seconds, then walking for a minute, and repeating for 20 minutes. HIIT has been shown to burn more calories in less time, increase post-workout calorie burn, and preserve more muscle compared to steady-state cardio. So, which is better for fat loss? It depends on your goals and preferences. If you're short on time and want maximum fat burning efficiency, HIIT is the way to go. If you prefer a lower impact, steady approach, longer, moderate intensity cardio can still get the job done. But here's the part most people don't talk about: cardio isn't perfect. In fact, it comes with some major downsides if you rely on it too much for fat loss. The downsides of cardio. 1. Metabolic adaptation. Your body gets more efficient. One of the biggest issues with cardio is that your body adapts to it. The more you do it, the more efficient your body becomes, which means you burn fewer calories over time for the same workout. Let's say you start running 3 times a week and burn 400 calories per run. After a few weeks, your body adapts, and suddenly, that same 30-minute run burns only 350 calories. Keep going for months, and you might be burning even less. This is why some people run every single day but still struggle to lose weight. Their body has adapted, and they aren't burning as much as they think. Plus, excessive cardio can lead to muscle loss, which slows down your metabolism even more. That brings us to the next downside. 2. Muscle loss risk. Excessive cardio can burn muscle. Here's something you might not know: when you do too much cardio without strength training, your body may start breaking down muscle for energy. Why does this happen? Because your body sees long-duration cardio as an energy demand and wants to become more efficient. And muscle is not efficient, it burns more calories at rest. So if your body thinks it doesn't need all that extra muscle, it will break it down to conserve energy. This is why marathon runners tend to have very little muscle mass compared to sprinters or strength athletes. Their body has adapted to long-distance running by shedding excess muscle to become more efficient. So if your goal is fat loss, not just weight loss, you don't want to lose muscle. That's why combining cardio with strength training is so important. 3. The hunger problem. Cardio can make you overeat. Ever finish a long cardio session and feel starving? That's not just in your head, it's your body's way of saying, "Hey, we just burned a ton of energy, feed me." The problem is that people often overcompensate after cardio, eating back all the calories they just burned. Think about it. If you burn 400 calories on a run but then eat a high-calorie smoothie or a post-workout meal that's 600 calories, you've actually gained calories instead of losing them. This is why some people do tons of cardio but still don't see results. They're unintentionally eating more than they burn. This doesn't mean you should avoid cardio altogether, but it does mean you need to be mindful of your nutrition. If fat loss is the goal, cardio alone isn't enough. You need the right combination of exercise and diet to see real results. Now that we've talked about cardio, let's shift gears and talk about strength training, because this is where the real magic happens when it comes to fat loss. A lot of people still think strength training is just for building muscle or that it's only for bodybuilders. But if fat loss is your goal, lifting weights might actually be the most effective thing you can do. Let me explain why. How strength training helps burn fat. First, let's get one thing straight. strength training doesn't just burn calories, it changes your metabolism. 1. It builds muscle, which increases your resting metabolism. One of the biggest advantages of strength training is that it builds muscle. And why does that matter? Because muscle is metabolically active, which means it burns more calories at rest than fat does. Think of it this way, if you add just 5 pounds of muscle, your body will naturally burn more calories 24/7, even when you're sleeping, working, or binge watching Netflix. That's like getting a free fat-burning upgrade for your body. Now, compare that to cardio, which only burns calories while you're doing it. Strength training sets you up for long-term, sustainable fat loss, not just temporary calorie burn. 2. The afterburn effect, EPOC, burn calories even after you're done. Ever finished a strength workout and felt warm and energized for hours afterward? That's not just in your head, it's called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, EPOC. Also known as the afterburn effect. Here's how it works. After an intense weightlifting session, your body has to work extra hard to repair muscle fibers, restore energy levels, and reduce inflammation. This process requires oxygen and energy, which means you're still burning calories hours after your workout is over. Studies show that EPOC can keep your metabolism elevated for up to 24 to 48 hours after a tough strength training session. That means you're still burning fat, even when you're just sitting around recovering. 3. Strength training improves insulin sensitivity and hormone regulation. If fat loss was just about counting calories, things would be easy, but your hormones play a huge role in how your body stores and burns fat. Strength training has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, which means your body can process carbs more efficiently, reducing the chances of storing them as fat. It also helps regulate important fat-burning hormones like growth hormone and testosterone, yes, even in women, making it easier to build muscle and burn fat. Cardio doesn't have the same effect on hormonal balance. In fact, too much cardio can sometimes spike cortisol, a stress hormone that makes fat loss harder. So if you want to optimize your body's ability to burn fat efficiently, strength training is one of the best tools you can use. Why strength training is often better for fat loss. So now that we understand how strength training works, let's talk about why it's often the better choice for fat loss compared to cardio. 1. Muscle takes up less space than fat, a leaner, more toned look. Here's something most people don't realize. Muscle is denser than fat, which means it takes up less space on your body. That's why two people can weigh the exact same, but one looks lean and toned while the other looks soft and undefined. It's all about body composition. If you're focused only on the number on the scale, you might get discouraged when it doesn't drop quickly with strength training. But what's really happening is your body is reshaping itself, burning fat while building lean muscle, which gives you a more defined, athletic look. 2. Strength training helps maintain long-term fat loss. One of the biggest problems with traditional cardio-based weight loss is that people often regain the weight once they stop working out. That's because cardio alone doesn't change your metabolism, it just burns calories in the moment. But when you build muscle, your body's baseline calorie burn stays higher all the time, making it much easier to keep the fat off. This is why strength training is so powerful. It helps you keep the results you worked for, instead of constantly fighting to maintain them. 3. It improves strength, function, and longevity. Beyond fat loss, strength training has real-life benefits that go way beyond aesthetics. It makes you stronger and more capable, so everyday tasks, like carrying groceries, lifting kids, or moving furniture, feel easier. It reduces injury risk by strengthening your joints, ligaments, and bones. It improves posture and mobility, helping prevent back pain and stiffness as you age. And most importantly, it helps you stay active and independent for life. So even if fat loss is your main goal right now, strength training sets you up for long-term health and longevity, which is just as important. Final thoughts on strength training for fat loss. So here's the bottom line. Strength training burns fat more effectively in the long run because it builds muscle, increases metabolism, and creates the afterburn effect. It helps reshape your body, giving you a leaner, more toned appearance, not just making you smaller. Unlike cardio, it helps you keep the fat off permanently by making your body more efficient at burning calories. And it has massive benefits beyond fat loss, including better strength, posture, mobility, and overall health. Now, does this mean you should never do cardio? No, cardio still has its place. And the best approach is a combination of both strength training and cardio. But if your goal is long-term fat loss, the smartest move you can make is to prioritize strength training while using cardio as a supporting tool. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle: how to combine cardio and strength training for the best results. That's exactly what we'll cover next. Alright, so we've broken down the strengths and weaknesses of cardio and strength training for fat loss. And by now, you're probably wondering, which one should I focus on? Here's the good news: you don't have to choose. The most effective fat loss strategy is a combination of both, but with the right balance. Let's talk about how to structure your workouts for maximum fat loss, muscle retention, and overall health. The perfect balance: strength training plus cardio. If fat loss is your goal, your training plan should look something like this. Checkmark strength training, 3 to 4 times a week. Your priority should be resistance training because it helps build and maintain muscle, which increases your resting metabolism. Focus on compound movements like squats, deadlifts, lunges, push-ups, and rows. These exercises work multiple muscle groups and burn more calories. Train with progressive overload, meaning you gradually increase the weight, reps, or intensity over time. This forces your muscles to grow and adapt. Checkmark cardio, 2 to 3 times a week. Cardio is still an important tool for fat loss and overall fitness. But you don't need excessive amounts of it. If you're short on time, HIIT, high-intensity interval training, is a great option because it burns more calories in less time and keeps your metabolism elevated post-workout. If you prefer lower intensity options, steady-state cardio, like brisk walking, jogging, or cycling, works well too. Just don't overdo it. Why progressive overload matters in strength training. One of the biggest mistakes people make is doing the same workout over and over again without increasing the challenge. Your body adapts quickly, so if you're lifting the same weights for months without increasing the difficulty, you'll stop seeing results. That's why progressive overload is so important. This means gradually increasing weight, reps, or intensity to keep challenging your muscles. More muscle equals a faster metabolism, which leads to better fat loss over time. So whether you're lifting weights, using resistance bands, or even doing bodyweight exercises, keep pushing yourself to improve. Avoiding burnout. Why more isn't always better? Here's something you need to remember: more is not always better. A lot of people assume that if cardio burns calories, then more cardio must be better. But this can backfire. Too much cardio can lead to muscle loss, hormone imbalances, and extreme fatigue. On the flip side, some people lift weights every single day without giving their muscles time to recover, which can lead to plateaus and burnout. The key is balance. By alternating between strength training and cardio, you give your body time to recover while maximizing fat loss. Final thoughts. The smartest approach to fat loss. If you want to lose fat efficiently and sustainably, your game plan should be: checkmark strength train 3 to 4 times a week to build muscle and boost metabolism. Checkmark do cardio 2 to 3 times a week to support fat burning and cardiovascular health. Checkmark use progressive overload to keep improving and avoid plateaus. Checkmark avoid excessive cardio to prevent muscle loss and burnout. The takeaway? Stop thinking of it as cardio versus strength training. Think of it as cardio plus strength training. By combining both in the right way, you'll not only lose fat but also build a strong, toned, and healthy body that lasts. And that's what fitness is really about. Alright, so now you've got the perfect game plan: strength training plus cardio for the best fat loss results. But let's be real, a lot of people still make mistakes that slow down their progress. So let's go over the biggest ones, so you don't waste time spinning your wheels. Mistake number 1. Doing only cardio and wondering why they're not leaner. I see this all the time, people hitting the treadmill or elliptical every single day. Sweating buckets, but never actually seeing a difference in how their body looks. Why? Because cardio burns calories, but it doesn't build muscle, and muscle is what gives you that lean, toned look. If you're only doing cardio and skipping strength training, you might lose weight, but you won't necessarily look more defined. You'll just become a smaller version of the same shape, not stronger, not more sculpted, just smaller. Mistake number 2. Skipping strength training out of fear of getting bulky. Let's clear this up once and for all. Lifting weights will not make you bulky. Especially if you're a woman. Building significant muscle takes years of intense training and eating in a calorie surplus. What strength training will do is help you burn fat, tighten up, and give you that fit, athletic look. So if you've been avoiding weights because you're scared of getting too big, trust me, you're missing out on the best tool for transforming your body. Mistake number 3. Not fueling properly. Whether you're doing cardio, lifting weights, or both, your body needs the right fuel. You can't expect to train hard and recover properly if you're eating like a bird or skipping protein. If you're doing lots of cardio, you need enough carbs to keep your energy up. If you're lifting weights, you need enough protein to build and repair muscle. Food isn't the enemy, it's fuel. If you're constantly exhausted, not seeing progress, or struggling with cravings, it might be time to check your nutrition. Mistake number 4. Expecting quick results. Look, I get it. Everyone wants fast results. But body recomposition takes time. Real fat loss, muscle gain, and a truly fit body don't happen overnight. If you start lifting weights today, you're not going to wake up tomorrow with a six-pack. But if you stay consistent, challenge yourself, and fuel your body right, you'll see insane changes in 8 to 12 weeks. So trust the process. Ditch the quick fix mindset, and focus on long-term, sustainable results. Your future self will thank you. Alright, let's wrap this up with a quick recap and a game plan you can actually use. So here's what we've learned today. Cardio burns calories fast, but it's not the best tool for long-term fat loss. Strength training builds muscle, boosts your metabolism, and helps you burn more fat even at rest. The smartest strategy? Prioritize strength training and add cardio as needed, not the other way around. At the end of the day, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. The best workout routine is the one that fits your lifestyle, your goals, and what you actually enjoy doing. So here's my challenge for you this week. Try one strength-based workout and one cardio session. Pay attention to how your body feels, and start experimenting with a routine that works for you. And if you found this episode helpful, let's stay connected. Follow me on social media for more fitness tips, workouts, and nutrition advice. Subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. We've got more science-backed, Strong with Eva fitness advice coming your way. That's it for today. Stay consistent, train smart, and let's build that strong, lean body together. See you next time. The information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. While we strive to provide science-backed fitness and nutrition insights, this content should not be considered medical advice. Every individual's body, health history, and needs are unique, and what works for one person may not work for another. Before making any significant changes to your diet, exercise routine, or health practices, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified healthcare professional, doctor, or registered dietitian. Your health and well-being come first, and professional guidance ensures that your fitness journey is safe, effective, and tailored to you.